Hi everyone, and good evening, and welcome to the Let's Talk About Market episode number 76. So, if we see the Nifty index today, it had come down. So, there was some news overnight that, now, Venezuela president has been under arrest, or basically he has been brought back to US. And, there are a lot of articles in the news highlighting that it was because of the petrodollar system, that was kind of collapsing because Venezuela was, accepting money in their local currency. Uh, by whichever nation who were buying, and it was mainly China. So that's why, and there are frankly lots of angles that are coming in now. Uh, See, what I have observed is that when there are certain trends in the market, irrespective of what the news flow is, they do tend to eventually unfold. So in this, the key basically is to hold on to the levels, and basically, if this is an uptrend, then ideally the 40-day exponential average, which has not been breaking so far, that ideally should not break. Okay, if that is not breaking, then come what may be the news. Of course, you have to keep an open mind to the news which is there, but you also have to respect the price action. If the price action is not confirming the news, then maybe those are narrative. Okay, that is what I have kind of experienced in the past, and and that's where actually looking at the data rationally helps you to be more sane in such situations. So I'll try and talk about what the data points are telling, how do we need to position, and what are the levels that we need to watch out for. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen, and if someone can please confirm if you all are able to see my screen properly or not. Please, if someone can comment in the chat box if they're able to hear me properly and see my screen. Okay, thanks a lot. So thanks a lot for the confirmation. So if we see the Nifty index, to be very honest, I would have thought that there should be a runaway rally that we end up seeing over here, but for the nth time, it is trying to find. There has been a selling pressure at a higher level. So in the very near term, what I'm looking out for is how it behaves around the 40-hour average, or if it goes below that, then basically the retracement level will come into play. So the 61.8 is around 26,066. Of course, to be very honest, if 40-hour breaks on the downside, that itself will actually not be good. Uh, but what is like the ultimate point where you need to be cautious. I think it would be that break of this average. Okay, until then I don't know if there is an attempt to form a triangular sort of pattern where it hovers between this and only then breaks out. I don't know that. And this, frankly, right at the start, it is not even possible to understand it. It's only when the move unfolds is when we get to understand. Okay, but if we see the daily RMI is in bullish mode, the weekly is where there is a disconnect. But in daily, as you can see, that it has been trending higher on the 40-day exponential average, right? You can see over here, here, and I would expect that if at all there is a dip or a pullback, ideally the 40 days should not break on the downside, and we should be headed higher. That is what I would tend to think at this point of time. And uh, and yeah, basically that is how I'm thinking at this point. And of course, then you will have to keep an eye on how the other markets are also doing, because if you see the small cap, it has risen higher. Okay, uh, micro cap has risen higher. It is the mid cap which was mildly down, and so on. And then in the sectors, again we have some mixed thing. So so broadly, if you see, small micro caps which were bashed, I mean, they seems to be making a comeback. And if we see the 40-day exponential average, micro cap has broken below that. Small cap has not just broken, but now sustaining well above that. In that case, now weekly averages will now become the key. And this week we'll get to know if there is a closing above this weekly averages or no. And in fact, even the RMI is on the verge of turning. So this channel breakout, does it happen or no? So a lot will be answered in this coming week, or maybe the week after that. And typically we do also end up seeing some pre-budget rally as well. uh, Now, that can also be expected, because anyways the sentiment is very sour. And I mean, the earnings growth and all those are a concern right now. So at this point of time, the hope will be more of some positive outcome, rather than government doing some weird thing like increasing tax or something like that. I mean, more than that, the expectation would be of pushing towards growth, and maybe cutting some taxes. Or I don't know, maybe, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, but because even in equity markets, I mean, actually, if you see on index level, it's all good, but internally things have gone bad, and basically FIIs are sort of refraining from coming back, right? One way could possibly be of by removing the long-term capital gains. I mean, I don't think so they will do that, but just an outside hope, because this government does not usually keep tweaking the taxes. Once they put it. I mean, it was HTT, and then also I think HTT and long term both they have put. So I don't know. I mean, this government honestly can do anything, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just hoping that there might not be negative surprises as such. And typically when you see the FI's long percentage, okay, forget about the absolute figure, but look at the long percentage. Such depressed long percentage, I have not seen any time in this data. Okay, that sort of tells us that they are not bullish, which means there is a lot of skepticism in the market, right? And when there is a lot of skepticism in the market usually tend to surprise on the other end. Okay, and as of now, if you see the price action on daily, weekly time frames, they are all sort of pausing towards a, I mean, they are all sort of pointing towards a positive outcome only. Okay, so I'll be very surprised if some negative thing happen. And now, of course, Trump can do anything. I don't know what's there in his mind, but he can screw things, and I cannot deny that as well. But broadly, if we see the trend, I mean, see, what's in our control is that how we react to the price actions that are forming, and are we with the trend or no. As of now, if you ask me, forget about all the noise. What the data points are telling you, those are largely pointing out that people are bearish. Okay, because you see the breadth. I mean, breadth also, if you see in the last 3 4 days, now it has started to pick up, right? So it has some room to go on the upside. Not some, but a lot of room is there to go on the upside. Similarly with the 40-day. So that way, if we see, they are all towards the lower end. If I had to bet of a breakout or a breakdown, the bet would be of a breakout. Okay, given that we are already around the all-time high levels, and we made a new all-time high in Friday's trading session. Okay, so that's where I think the bet would be. The only thing that I had also pointed out in the Friday's trading session is that swing average swing, they are at an around the upper end. Now it can so happen that the index can keep rising higher, but this might keep going a bit lower and lower. This would mean that as the up move unfolds, there will be a bit of a shallower participation that can be expected. So be mindful of that. So that is the only thing that I would say. And in fact, if you end up being with the outperformers, then you don't need to bother much about divergence and so on, because if you see even in today's market, Nifty was up. I mean, Nifty was down 0.3, but metal index again was up 0.6%. Okay, and if you just see the chart of metal, I mean, this might look like it's in a different universe altogether, right? I mean, it is just climbing higher and there is no stopping by. And all this is happening when it's at a new all-time high, right? So that is the good thing of being with the trend. When you're with the trend, usually what will happen is that in such cases, that if the market also falls, metal might not fall that. Okay, but if at all the Nifty rises, maybe metal will rise more, and that's what the benefit is of being with the outperformers, right? So that's how it is. I mean, stick to the outperformers. Even I think PSU Bank, you can see it again rose higher. This was also one of the name which was there in the outperformer list. If you see PSU index, that also now seems to be making a comeback. And I had mentioned in Friday's trading session, right, how many of these indices are actually, had given a major breakout in 2022, 2023, somewhere around that time. They rose higher till 2024. And since then, there has been a meaningful time wise correction, or you can also say price wise damage that we have seen. So if I just have to take a Fibonacci retracement, it has also crossed the 61.8% retracement, right? So there is a very high probability that it might end up breaking the previous high and maybe even rise further higher. So that's what the bet is. Focus on the sectors. I have already covered this in Friday's trading session, like which are the sectors that are very strong, which have given multi-year breakout and so on. So I think that's where the focus should be. And again, I'm telling you, I mean, I have seen this data playing out n number of times. Uh, you can see over here. It was even around this time I know that there was extreme bearish sentiments. Okay, eventually things turned around. So sometimes it can test your patience, but I mean, it's the history that's shown us that every time it goes towards the lower end, it does bounce back very sharply. Okay, I mean, we have seen it over here, we have seen it over here, right? So I would expect that at some point of time we end up seeing this time around as well. What will be the cutoff point, at least in the near term? Like I told you, I am not expecting averages, the daily averages, to break on the downside, even in any of the worst case. If this happens, then I don't know, then maybe the view might change, and I might need to have a fresh look at what the market is doing. But so far it is holding above the averages. We are all good. Similar case with Bank Nifty, Nifty, and so on. Mm, on the RRG, I'm not sure if there are any changes that are done, but you see all the daily on the daily RRG. All the sectors are kind of gaining momentum and relative strength. That is always a good sign, right? Because when the market is not that great, you will end up seeing all of them losing momentum. You see this. It is probably somewhere around 30th of December, sorry, 13th of November. I'm not sure where the Nifty index was. 13th of November. No, it was somewhere over here, where most of the index were losing momentum, and eventually we ended up seeing some correction as well. So now when they all are rising together, I mean, typically you will end up seeing rotation. I mean, if some sector is going down, some will come up, and overall it will balance things out. And so yeah, I mean, in weekly, mostly look at the ones that are gaining momentum as well as relative strength, because those are the ones where the near term strength is. Like you see metals over here, it's gaining momentum and a bit of a relative strength as well. It is IT, media in the past few weeks, it has been gaining momentum. Usually I don't like to talk about media because it is mostly dictated by Z, but you can also see the other components as well, and maybe who knows, even Z might end up being attractive. But this is what it is. I mean, if you see media, it has been a big underperformer. Okay, but since past few weeks, you can see that it is gaining momentum. So need to see over there. Let me just check the chart of Nifty Media if there is any interesting thing that is happening. Hmm, nothing great as such, apart from the fact that there is a bullish crossover that will now happen. I'm not sure how much percent has it retraced. Oh, it has done around 78.6%. So yeah, I mean, it appears to be a beaten down name as well. I'm not sure if there is some mean reversion that can happen. So you can do that as well. And say once you figure out a sector, say for example, metal is something that you have figured out. So you can see where are they in their RRG chart as well, whether there can be some opportunity that can arise. Like Adani Enterprise, some gain of momentum is there. Usually, relative strength, follows once we end up seeing momentum also picking up. So that way you can try and find stocks where the setups are interesting. Like JSL, Sale. These have all come out. Where the momentum and the relative strength both are getting both are increasing. So those are good signs, right? So these are the ways that you need to think about stocks and sectors. And broadly, see, my whole idea of being bullish is mainly this, that the FI long positioning is very low, breadth is not that great. So all those medium term indicators are kind of pointing out towards a bullish outcome in the coming weeks and months. Okay. The only thing where the bullish stance needs to be reviewed is if the daily averages are broken on the downside. I mean, that might honestly be a negative surprise if at all that happens. So yeah, broadly this is it. I mean, uh, if you'll have any queries, please let me know. I'll be happy to address it. Ajay says yearly subscription charges hike now. Uh, I am not aware of that. Maybe, I mean, you can contact someone in sales. You can just uh, Ajay, you can just go over here, put a message. Sorry, in raise a ticket. Basically, you can go and you can put this like help and then subscription related, and you can just put in your query. Someone from our team will come and contact you. How is IT? So IT is gaining momentum, Karthik. The only thing is that see, the only thing in IT is that firstly now the result season is coming, and apart from that, IT has seen a meaningful outperformance in this phase, right? I mean, all this while Nifty was not doing anything, and it has made a comeback. Now it is, kind of facing resistance around its previous high. So I had mentioned this earlier that, this is like the major resistance in the near term. Okay. Once the 61% gets broken on the upside, the confidence will become high of, previous high also getting retested. Frankly, there are still a lot of shorts that are there in the system for IT. And I'm not sure. I mean, they are not even squaring it off despite seeing such big rally. Such meaningful rally in stocks. So, I mean, some have been covered, but some are still open as well. So, I'm not sure if they are betting on results being wrong or so. So, at this point of time, if you ask me, I'll be on the sidelines. There are just, I think, 5 6 days that we need to wait for the results to come out. Maybe after that we'll have a clear picture. If there are no negative surprise, my bias would be that eventually things break out on the upside, mainly because again over here there are a lot of shorts and the sentiments are negative, and expectations are also not that great. So if they don't disappoint big time, I think IT should be good overall. But I'm again telling don't punt before the results, because they do tend to give wild moves during the result time. अजय सेज आपके सब वीडियोस देखे हैं सीखने के लिए. नाउ आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट. Okay. Yeah, great, Ajay. I mean, you can get your hands on strike. I'm sure you will find it helpful. Any other questions that you'll have, which you'll want me to address it, please let me know. But yeah, more than this, I would hope that at some point of time we end up getting a breakout, because it's been in a narrow range for quite some time now. Uh, Sorry, guys, just give me a minute. There is there is one important thing that I have to do. Please give me a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, Ajay says, Ajay, I don't want to get into stock specific, but broadly, if you see its 3 year, 5 year, 10 year average, the valuations are pretty decent now. Of course, the growth has also gone down. And if you see the chart as well, it has been consolidating around the upper end of the channel, right? Typically, I mean, I'm not getting into the stock specific chart and analyzing that, but typically it has I mean, it correlates with Nifty more or less, and Nifty is also looking bullish. So I'm hoping that the outcome remains bullish for HDFC Bank as well. The only thing is that all this is now, I mean, there is a big TNC which is there, which is the quarterly result. Okay, so you need to be careful with that, and don't try to bet big before the result, because if at all there is a negative surprise, it can become ugly. So please be careful of that. Why has Nifty future premium collapsed? What does it implicate? Okay, I have not seen it. Just let me check it. You're saying Nifty sorry, Nifty. And the base is so 128 ka premium has turned out to be 78. I don't know if it would possibly because of the kind of uh, the bearish sentiment that we are seeing. I don't know Venezuela, and in fact the other thing, I'm sure you all might have read it in the weekend, that Trump is again threatening to put more tariffs if we don't stop buying from Russia or something like that. So again, I'm not sure if that is playing on people's mind. That could be the reason. I mean, that is what I can think of, Praveen. Yesterday rollover session was good. But I want to know which are the highest and the lowest when it comes to OI. Is it single digit OI? No, no, no. So Dinesh, this is rollover is not based on that. I mean, not like a strike OI thing. I had mentioned it. I think someone had asked me that what is the specific strategy for rollover. It is not that. I mean, you will have no other choice but to look at the data and understand where the shorts are and how many shorts are, and at what level people are shorting. you will need to analyze those things. Dinesh, there is no other way out. So far, we don't have any scanners. We are trying to possibly put percentile in the new release that we put. So these are the suggestions that I have already given. We need to work on it. We need to see the percentile OI and how it behaves over there. Maybe after that, you kind of come to know that which are the stocks with high percentile. That means over there the open interest would be very high. So that would sort of become one scanner. So that, but that is at a later stage. At this point of time, there is no other way out than seeing it stocks individually right now. But the month on month OI change, if you see, and if you see those monthly trends, I'm sure you should be able to figure out which are the stocks with high open interest. But yeah, as I told you, I mean, you will have to do a bit of a manual work over here. Or if you're good at Excel and trying to know, uh, and I mean, if you're very good at Excel, you can probably put some formulas over there and try to, find out those outliers. Someone saying, what is the effective way to interpret and trade using William R indicator? Is it embedded as a no? So honestly, I don't use William R percentage, so don't have much idea about it. So I would not want to comment on it. Ajay says valuation scanner. I don't know. I mean, see, we are all working on it. I have told you earlier also. I mean, in fact, Chavan was also there in Friday's uh, this Zoom link, right? You all heard from him. You can expect some good news in next 1 month. In terms of feature rollout and all. So please wait till then. But I also showed you, in that rollover session also, that there are a lot of things that we are doing. We are testing. We are trying to get good results as well. We just need to be very sure of the result, because we cannot be putting out anything to you, right? I mean, earlier we did some mistakes, in trying to rush for the features, and we ended up breaking the systems also. But you all can now figure out that the system is also not breaking. It is pretty smooth. Once in a while, if there is some issue with the NSC end, we end up facing it. Else, it is all smooth now. So we would want to go slow, but make sure that we do it correctly this time. So So I think these are the questions that we had. I think we are done with almost 28 minutes with this session. I think more or less, things are the same. I've given you the levels to watch out for. Let's see if those holds or no. Ideally, my bias is that we should be breaking out on the upside. Hopefully, it happens sooner rather than later. So yeah, once again, thanks for joining today, and let's catch up tomorrow at same time, 5 p.m. Thank you.